Thanks very much for joining us, Patricia.
No worries.
Would you be able to start by just introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about your background, and if you want to start with that.
Okay, so my name is Patricia Rueda and I work at the University of Edinburgh as a teaching fellow, and I'm also the producer of the Edinburgh Spanish Film Festival that I do here with my colleague Marian.
Okay. Good.
And I came to Edinburgh in 2005 for the first time, so quite a long time ago.
Great. Can you tell us a bit about where you were born and where you grew up?
So I was born in Segovia in Spain 8 years ago and then I've been living mostly in Madrid. When I was living in Spain I was mostly living in Madrid, and then I moved to Edinburgh in 2005, and since then I've been here. I went back for a short period of time as well to Spain.
Okay. And did you have a good childhood?
Everything was fine. Like my parents moved around quite a lot when I was little, so I lived in Venezuela, Bilbao, and the south of Spain in Algeciras because of my dad's work. But when I was 3 we settled in Madrid, and I lived since then in Madrid and studied in Madrid, went to university in Madrid.
Okay. So you said you moved to Scotland in 2005, sorry?
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about that, the story of your arrival here? Why did you come to Scotland?
Well, when I was studying, I studied media in Madrid, and when I was studying, I met a friend who loved traveling, and me too, and we traveled quite a lot, and we went to Oxford for a summer and we really enjoyed it, and we thought it would be a nice idea maybe when we finish our degree to go somewhere, like English speaking place, just to improve our English for a year. So when we finished our degree we decided to move to Edinburgh, just because I was studying and I had a really nice teacher that was from Edinburgh, and I thought he's really good fun, so if everyone here has his humor it will be really, really funny. So I just moved with a friend that studied the same as me here for a year, but then I started studying photography here, and I also met my husband, and then I decided to study for an extra year, and that was 3 years, and then I'm still here.
So what were your initial experiences like in Scotland? How did you find it when you came here?
Well, it was very nice because it's a fantastic city. I mean, like I came for a year and I decided to stay since. So I loved the city. I thought it was very welcoming. People were really nice. When I was in Oxford, I really liked it, but I found it, I don't know, maybe because it was smaller and I'm from Madrid, I found it a bit small, and Edinburgh was welcoming and big enough, but not too big as well. And people were really nice. Like, I know everyone says Scottish people have a strong accent, but they really make an effort to be understood. And I don't know, just like I really, really like the character. I think it has in some respects it's similar to Spanish character, like a bit open and like really chatty, and they like doing things in groups. Okay. So I felt really welcome. Yeah.
Okay, great. What was your early social life like when you first moved to Scotland?
So when I first moved to Scotland, as I told you, I moved with a friend, and she was from Spain as well. So we really wanted to practice our English, so we decided to not share with Spanish people and focus in just meeting people from here, and that obviously doesn't work. Spanish people need like their own like friends, and very soon we made a big group of Spanish friends. So initially most of my friends were Spanish, but then because I stayed for longer, obviously most of them started to want to find jobs, because I started working as a waitress as I was studying, and like then in nurseries. So most of them went back to Spain and decided to pursue their careers. So I started meeting more international people, so lots of Polish and French, Italians, Germans. So my group of friends was a bit more international, but still kind of like most of us, we were foreigners because we were working and studying. And then I met my husband, and my husband is from Hawick, from Scotland. So I met his friends, and then through his friends then I started meeting more locals. And now I would say I still have some Spanish friends that they stayed here like me, and friends from other nationalities, but my biggest group of friends are mostly Scottish and British as well.
Right. When you first got here, you said you came and you studied for a while. So what were the initial experiences like of that, of sort of learning in a new environment?
So when I moved here, because I just finished media, I wanted to study screenwriting. So I did a postgraduate courses in screenwriting. But then I also was doing photography, like analogical photography in Spain, just like a course. So I decided to go to Edinburgh College to do a course in just developing photography, and they gave me an unconditional to do an HND and then a PDA. So I decided to continue studying and just finish the 4 years, since I was working at the same time doing photography. So I thought it would be quite like a good thing to finish a degree here. And it was very nice. My class was a mix of people from different nationalities. I mean, obviously I had a degree already, so I was in the mature part of the class. Like some of them were like quite young. Still met quite a lot of people, make a lot of friends, and then the teachers were absolutely lovely, and I learned quite a lot. So it was a fantastic experience.
Okay. When you first got here, what were your initial thoughts of Scottish culture? Were there any surprises about the way people act or the culture of Scotland when you got here?
Well, when I moved here and I really like reading, and I love traveling, so I've been traveling a lot around Scotland and the north of England, and I remember reading on a guide what haggis was, and I was like, sounds disgusting, I will never try that. And then I tried it, and I actually like it a lot, and I thought, well, you need to give it a shot. So and then I love Kayleys, and that's something that I pass on to my family. So my parents and friends have been coming to Scotland to visit me almost every year, and they always want to go to a Kaylee, and all my friends have kilts, and they bought like those really cheap ones that you can buy in the Royal Mile, but like they are like passionate about like putting their skirts on, like they say, and go dancing. And it's a part of the culture I really like, because people are really good fans here. And what else about, I don't know, I mean, I guess I knew about the kilts before I came, so that wasn't a surprise, but yeah.
Right. Did you find any similarities between the Spanish culture where you grew up and then coming here? Anything similar that you kind of made you feel at home? Yeah,
well, the first thing is that people here gather a lot in groups. I think they're very sociable. And it is, I mean, people from Spain, they tend to be in big groups. They love like enjoying their food and chatting and having like long, we call it sobremesa, long talks after having food. And I found like Scottish people quite similar in a way, like they are very welcoming, and they really like to spend time in the pub and groups and outside as well. I really like going to the mountains, and here people love going to the mountains. Everyone, like if you look at Arthur's Seat, there's always someone there. Yeah. So, and that's something that's very similar, and I really liked. And yeah, in general, just the character, I think, very relaxed. I mean, Spanish people, punctuality is not as good as Scottish people's punctuality, but rather than that, yeah, I will say it has quite a lot of similarities.
Okay. Were there any major differences at all? Anything that kind of surprised or shocked you a little bit?
Well, the main thing, I guess, is Spanish people, I will say that we are very upfront. So we just say what we think. And here sometimes I found that like, maybe I was being too honest. So people will be like, how are you doing? And I will be like, oh, I had an awful day. And they will look at you like, oh, I'm really sorry. Because no one says that. Even if your day was the worst day in the world, you will just say, I'm fine. So that was the biggest difference, like not being able to be completely honest. Like to an extent, obviously, it's like not everyone is like that, but that was the biggest difference, I would say. And then I'm pretty loud. So Scottish people are loud when they drink, but when they don't drink, they're not that loud. And then making a small conversation, I hate that, like talking about the weather. Here people can spend hours talking about the weather. And it's like, who cares? It's gonna change. It's gonna be worse. So yeah.
It's very true. You felt quite welcome when you arrived?
Yes.
Yeah. What kind of formed that view? When you first arrived, what kind of made you feel quite welcome?
Well, people always try to make a connection. So I remember meeting people, even just being a waitress, and everyone was like, oh, you're very smiley, where are you from? I was like, I'm from Spain. Oh, Spain, I've been in, and it's always Barcelona, Mallorca, Benidorm. But yes, I learned a bit Spanish, dos cervezas, por favor, and where are you from? You say Madrid, and they will be like, Real Madrid or Barcelona, and I will be like, I don't like football. And then they will look at me like, what? you're Spanish and you don't like football. But like people really try to make a connection. You know, they are not just polite. They really try to know you a little bit more and chat with you. And they always ask, "It's always hot in Spain?" And you say, "Well, no, it's not. It's cold in winter as well." But yeah, and so that's one of the main things. And also, obviously, my husband is from here. I met his family and his friends, and they've been really welcoming. And I know my accent sometimes is quite strong, and now I'm the only foreigner in my group of friends. But they always try, and they don't make jokes about my accent and things like that. Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, it's good. Were there any particular difficult situations that you found when you arrived?
No, not specifically. No, like I mean, you always get the odd comment, like maybe I can't understand you, but like most people are really welcoming. And the hardest thing for me was getting used to not the weather, but the light. Like in Spain we have more light, and here it gets really dark in winter. So the fact that it was like dark at 3, it was quite hard for me. And then it's cold in the winter in Spain as well, but then not having a proper summer. So I still go for 15 days to Spain to get my sun fix. So that would be, that I think is the hardest. And then Spanish people love food. So I do miss some food. When I go to Spain, I just like eat fruit all the time. Sure. They have fruit here, but it's not the same.
Moving on a bit to your current life now. What you said you work at the university.
Yes.
What inspired you to sort of choose the field that you're in now?
Well, as I told you, I studied photography, and then I was doing photography for a while. I worked as a photographer here, and then my husband decided he wanted to move to Spain to properly learn Spanish, because obviously being here, just talking to me, wasn't enough. So we decided to move for a couple of years to Spain, and he was teaching English there. He did a filter course and taught English, and we were living there. And because I was also helping him, and when I was here I had many jobs, and some of them were teaching Spanish, and I really liked the side of teaching. And then when I came back, I still tried to pursue the photography degree, but to an extent, like to being a photographer as I wanted to be is really hard. And in Edinburgh there's not a huge market for that. I did fashion photography. It's not a huge market for fashion photography. Sorry, I did that in Madrid. In Spain, the current situation, and it's been like that for years, of working in creative fields is very stressful, stressful and distressing. It's not good. Like you're never gonna find a job that is well paid and allow you to just do that. So I decided to also try teaching as well as photography, and because I did a qualification in teaching in Spain while I was in Spain. When I came here, I started finding jobs teaching, and then I got a position in the university, and I really, really enjoyed it, much more than what I thought. And then I met Marianne, and she wanted to do the Edinburgh Spanish Film Festival. I love cinema, and that's what I studied. So being able to do both things at the same time, doing the Spanish Film Festival and also teaching, was perfect. So slowly the photography like went to a second part of, well, it was like secondary in my life, and I started just focusing again in cinema and teaching.
Okay. And what inspired you to get into photography in the first place?
Well, I just because the same that inspired me to study cinema and media, I really like telling stories, and I guess photography is like cinema. It's just like just an image instead of like you don't have the story, like the image that is moving. You just have like a single image, but it's the same.
Okay. Do you think that your Spanish heritage impacted the work that you do at the moment?
I mean, definitely. I teach Spanish and do the Spanish Film Festival, so yes, definitely. So it's always there. It's always very present. Yes.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit more about the Spanish Film Festival, that what you do for the Spanish Film Festival, and about the festival itself?
So I started working with a colleague, with Marianne, and she had this idea of doing a Spanish Film Festival in Edinburgh, because there was none. There was a French and Italian but not a Spanish one. So I studied cinema and I love Spanish cinema, and I think Spain is very diverse. Well, no, actually, I'm from Spain, but the whole of the Spanish-speaking world is very diverse. And you have so many countries, and it's one of the most widely spoken languages in the world. And just to see, there was just like maybe just one film that I could watch a year, or 2 films. I used to go to the film house and the Cameo all the time and miss to go and see Spanish films. So I thought that was a gap that we could fill, and also to spread the culture, that part of the culture, and to make people understand that Spanish culture is not just like flamenco and like sun and beach, but it's like so much more. And we have like different regions, different cinema, other languages. That's mainly what inspired me to do it, and it's been really successful. And like we keep meeting people, not only Spanish people that think, oh, it's great to watch Spanish cinema here, but also British people that say, oh, I've never watched a film in Basque, for example, or I didn't know it rained so much in Galicia. It looks so much like Edinburgh, and you just like, it's a way of knowing the culture. So I guess Spanish culture is really inbuilt in me.
What would you say are the achievements that you're most proud of?
Well, definitely a festival, because it was really hard to do. Like everything cultural. Edinburgh is a fantastic city to do that. It has lots of festivals. It has a lot of creativity. That's one of the things I really liked from Edinburgh. You don't feel like you need to go to London to get that. For the size of the city, it's perfect. You have so much going on, and like to being able to be part of that is great. So.
Great. So can you tell us a little bit about family life in Scotland now?
Well, I'm married with a Scotsman from Hawick. It's called Paul, and we live in Leith, that I absolutely love. Like, it's my favorite part of town. That's why we have the house there. But and I'm gonna have a kid soon, pretty soon. So I guess I'm pretty settled here. But Paul's family, they're all from the north of Scotland, and they moved to Hawick, and they were very welcoming. So I had 2 sisters-in-law. I have a nephew and a niece, and my parents-in-law, and I really found a family here. And then I would also say, when you're a foreigner and you come, your friends become so much your family, because they are in the same situation. They miss their families in Spain. My mom was distraught when I moved here. Then my brother moved to New York, and then she was pretty sad. But she comes a lot, my dad as well, and they really like Scotland. And I think, in the end, you just become part of a big family with your friends here and your friends there. And I lost friends, obviously, because you move away and you can't see them that often. But my friends that they are really close, they come almost every year to visit, and I go there every year. So I will say, just you're part of a big family when you are a foreigner.
So you kind of covered this already, but you engage with sort of family and friends from back home quite a lot then. Yes,
I go twice a year. I always go at Christmas. One year I decided to stay here at Christmas. And my granny put my picture on the table and said, we were speaking on Skype, and she was like, look, we have your chair and your plate. And I was like, okay, that's really sad. I'm gonna go every Christmas. I mean, as I told you, Spanish people, for us, family and friends are really important. So I go every Christmas since, and my husband comes with me as well. And then during the summer, I do need some days of sun, so I go always twice a year. And people come here. I haven't managed to bring my granny. She's 87 and she's never been in a plane, so she's refusing to come. But apart from her, my aunts, my mom and dad, and all my friends, my brother, they've been here a few times. And
what would you say, what aspects of Scotland are most important to you?
Well, just of Scotland. I guess for me now it's like a home. So I went back to Spain for 2 years. And then I wanted to be back. I was like, I love Spain, I love being back. But when you're a foreigner, you're not from anywhere anymore. So that's my house now. Like I feel like that's my home.
Right.
And I don't think about going back to Spain.
Okay.
Like I like going in short periods of time, but I don't think about going back and living there. So I guess everything is just, yeah. Okay. I've been almost here, like I've been almost 10 years here, so yeah, right. A third of my life.
And is there anything from your own culture, your own heritage that you particularly want to hold on to while you're here?
Food. Yes, I cooked a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, I mean, there are so many Spanish shops now, we can buy things. But yeah, I would say food. And the language, obviously, I teach Spanish language. I'm going to have a kid and I'm going to teach her Spanish and English, so she will be really lucky. She will not need to struggle with accents and things. But yeah, and the cinema as well. But I mean, the cinema is the whole of the culture. It shows everything. So,
right.
Yeah.
And have your feelings of Scotland changed in the 10 years or so?
A little bit, not a lot. I mean, well, they build new things and things like that. But I would say since Brexit, it was something that it never happened before. Like I always felt really welcome, and then when that happened, you feel like, do you think, well, I've been living here, like, you know, like I'm just one more citizen. I work, I pay my taxes. Like, what should I leave? Why should I have restrictions? But then I have friends that are American. I have a friend from Ghana. I have a friend from Russia, and friends from China, and they have those struggles every day, and you just think it's so unfair. And then when you suddenly think I may need to face the same and get a visa and count how many years I've been working and where have I been working, and my daughter will have problems traveling. I guess you don't know how fortunate you are from being from the European Union until it's threatened. So that's the main change. I was really disappointed when Brexit happened, and I was really proud as well that Scotland mainly voted to remain. But I remember speaking, my husband was working in London at the time, and he told me, don't worry, it will definitely never happen. And then next morning he called me and he was like, I just can't believe it. I'm so disappointed in my country. And I don't know if you know about Spanish politics, but they're shambles and they've always been like that. And I was like, oh, I've been always disappointed in Spanish politics, so I'm used to it. But I never thought it would happen here. So I guess, yes, I'm a bit disappointed, but I still keep a lot of hope, because I think people in Scotland are just not exactly the same. Like, Edinburgh is a really welcoming city, and like, I remember when Brexit happened, my sister-in-law came and she had cooked some churros, and she just came home with a card and with my niece, and they were like, we really want you here, so don't feel unwelcome, because this is like a tiny bit of the population. And so yeah, but yeah, I guess it has changed a bit. Yeah.
Okay. And in general, do you think that immigration has had a positive effect on Scotland? Definitely.
And I mean, I work in the Department of the European Languages, and you see all the students and they learn languages and how much it makes the culture better, and all our students love traveling. And I guess you just need to travel and see that, like, we are just people, and that gives you a very different vision of the world. And if you just stay in your small area and don't travel, you think what you have is the best. But if you travel, you realize how good it is what you have, and how many other options that they are also valuable and interesting, and they don't need to be exactly like you are. And the students always come back from their Erasmus years, and they love being in Scotland, or like we have students from other places, like America or China, and they say, oh yeah, I love my country, I'm part of my culture, but I learned so much in Spain as well. And I guess it just makes you a more tolerant person. And I think the fact, like, Edinburgh is a very tolerant city because of the immigration, because it has so many people from so many places. And not only in Edinburgh, I mean, I'm talking from my experience, and I think in Edinburgh is very obvious, but as I told you, my husband was working for a year in London, and he lived in Willesden Green, and it's an area with lots of like Portuguese and Italian and Brazilian people, and you walk around and you see so many places, from like so many coffees that they have like Portuguese staff and Brazilian staff and Italian staff, and also more like British stuff or from other places, and it's just better. You just have more options. Yeah.
Finally, do you feel like do you feel Scottish at all, or do you feel a part of Scottish society?
Yes, no, definitely, yes. As I told you, like for me, Scotland is my home. So, yeah.
Perfect.